Hey y'all, it's Toya Ramos. I just decided to do a video because I just wanted to quickly just reintroduce myself and share all of the things that I'm currently working on rebuilding within my life and for my business. But more importantly, just to reconnect with you all to help you get a good idea of what it is that I do, because I'm not one to really be on social media a lot. I do try to show up as much as I can for my brands, but I'm not a social media person. Social media is a challenge for me, not from a creative perspective, because that's something that, because I am a creative, it's not hard for me to do that. But I think it's just more of, I live more mostly in real life, so I'm just not quick to pick up the phone and capture everything. I'm typically very present in my life, which is, I know is a good thing, but I think, from a content creation perspective, it's not, I just need to be a lot more aware and show up a little bit more, not only for myself, but obviously for my business, right? So first of all, thank you for everyone who's followed me for many, many years, followed my brands for many, many years. One brand particularly, which is Ministry New York, but it's now in reverence of, and I'll explain that in a second. But overall, just to reintroduce myself, I'm Toya Ramos. I am a solopreneur. I'm a multi-hyphenated solopreneur. And now I'm moving much more towards, or I guess you could say pivoting, not pivoting really, because I've been working on them for so many years, but I think I'm just on another level of really paying a lot more, no, that's not the right word. I'm basically investing more time into growing my businesses, my product-based businesses. So long story short, I have a consulting studio called Fluid Record Studio, which is a sustainability consulting studio. And for many of you who may not know, or this is your first video you're seeing of me, I am a sustainability consultant. I am educated in that field, and I help businesses with their sustainability strategy. It is something that I really, really enjoy doing, in addition to brand strategy as well. Brand strategy and sustainability is just a big thing for me. I'm a sustainability advocate, and I am here for, as a Black woman, I'm here for Black voices within the sustainability space, particularly sustainable fashion, because that is my particular passion, and therefore it's genuine for me to indulge in that specific area. Obviously, yes, I definitely I feel very strongly about food justice, climate justice, and climate resilience. So that's another thing as well. And I do that mostly through my podcast called Susty Soul, where I amplify Black voices and voices of color who work in sustainability, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's advocacy, whether it's policy, and all of those things. So that's one area of my life. And if you want to know how did I get into it, I actually delved into it like a lot of people, from being a designer, and then also realizing, this was back in 2016, realizing and understanding how bad the fashion industry was. And then that was when sustainability and sustainable fashion started to become a thing, like a thing, back in around 2014, 2015. But I think really, I think for a lot of people, and if you are in the fashion industry, you know that one of the biggest unfortunate events, horrific events, was the collapse of Rana Plaza in India. So that was a big wake-up call one of the big wake-up calls for the fashion industry. So that's kind of eventually how I started to really delve into it and educate myself. And then I eventually went back to Columbia University to finish a master's degree in sustainability management. So from then on, I decided to go into consulting. And then outside of consulting, in my regular career, when I was in school and still figuring things out, most of my career I spent as a recruiter and within HR. So I have a big HR, recruiting, talent acquisition background. That's what I do by trade. And I still freelance here and there if there's work out there, or if someone needs me to come on their team to help them build out their team, or if they just need some additional recruiting support. So that's one area of my life. And the more passionate parts of my life, obviously I'm very passionate about sustainability, don't get me wrong, but just in terms of where I feel like my purpose is, it is definitely perfumery and worship dance design. So I'll start with perfumery. I always loved fragrances. I've always been a big fan of all kinds of fragrances. And fast forward to about 5 years ago, I became part of what is called FraidCom. And I used to do, like a lot of you guys probably see now on social media, there's a lot of like fragrance reviewers. I was one of those people on YouTube, mostly on YouTube, and I'm gonna revamp that again soon. But yeah, I became one of those people. Shout out to y'all. And started reviewing all of the big fragrances, and I just really fell in love with the art of perfumery. And then it sort of just developed into this really deep passion and love for making perfume. And fast forward, I started my brand in reverence of, which is an oil perfumery. You can actually, this is the bottle here. Isn't she lovely? But no, I fell in love with perfumery, and I built my brand over the past couple of years. So that's one part of where I feel that there's a lot of purpose in my life, not only because of fragrance, but really just natural fragrances and essences and the five senses, and how it really does overlap with my particular passion for herbalism, natural medicine, and aromatherapy. So the other side of that, of my purpose, is worship dance. So many years ago, I was a worship dancer at my church for several years. And I learned a lot, not only from my love of dance, because I've always loved dance since I was a little girl. I used to dance when I was a little girl. You know, my parents couldn't afford to keep me in dance school. So I feel like had things gone differently, I probably would be a professional dancer today, but it just wasn't it wasn't my purpose. It wasn't my, I don't think it was God's will for my life. But what I do believe is God's will for my life, because he constantly reminds me, because it's always that thing in the back of your head where it's just like, okay, girl, like, you know, you're supposed to be doing this. So for me, it's worship dance design. So I now understand that not only was it important for me to experience that and be a dancer, because I was a dancer, but it was important for me to understand firsthand what worship dancers need and what was missing. So because of my love for fashion, and because I always wanted to be a designer, God just laid it on my heart to just like build this brand for worship dancers. And then there's definitely room for it to be a ready to wear line. And so there's going to be more areas of the brand that is going to really focus on pieces that are transitional, that you can wear inside and outside of the sanctuary or wherever you are ministering. So that is something that's really important to me as I continue to build this brand. So yeah, I started that. The brand was called Ministry New York. I started that in 2010, so it's been a long time. And if any of you follow me on Instagram, it used to be called Ministry New York, but now I've changed the brand to In Reverence Of. So In Reverence Of is a brand. It's a house of brands now. So In Reverence Of Parfums and In Reverence Of Apparel are sister brands. And I decided to just do that because I wanted to create something that was authentic to me and really just aligned with my ethos in life. And for me, it's really just reverencing sustainability, Earth, the planet, natural resources, because it's again, like I said, sustainability is a big thing for me, and that is just really just part of the DNA of my brand and my life. And yeah, they're sister brands, and this is what I do. It's really just about my relationship with God. So my spiritual life, spirituality, dance, fashion, and fragrance. So that's essentially me in a nutshell. And also, in terms of building brands, because, obviously when you're an entrepreneur, profitability is important, obviously. But as a practitioner, as a sustainability practitioner, I'm beginning to challenge a lot of the ways that we do business these days. So for me, in the spirit of conscious consumption, slow consumption, ethical consumption, which is, the sort of antithesis of just the Western way that we look at building business, scaling, all of those things. I do believe that it is absolutely possible to scale a business. I've seen it before, and it's a lot of brands do it all the time. But it's just a way to build a business. But that's just not where you're not forced or constantly forcing products down people's throats, right? For me, I really want to build a community around both brands. I love making perfume, and I just want people to buy who also love perfume. And for Ministry, I'm still calling the apparel side Ministry New York because I've called it that since its inception. So forgive me if you're kind of confused. So Ministry New York is essentially the apparel arm of In Reverence of. So yeah, and it's just like I want to build community around worship dance, and I know that my role is to design for worship dancers. And my prayer is that my brand is of value to worship dancers. So how I'm going to like build that in terms of community. I know it's not my calling to be at least full-time a dance minister. I know it's not. I just know my lane now in the space. So from the apparel perspective, yes, that's me. So I am just, God has just been giving me a lot of confirmation on moving this forward and rebuilding this. So if if any of you are worship dancers, or if you know worship dancers, please share this with them, or please share the brands with them. It's going to be a journey, and I can't wait to continue to share it with all of y'all. But that is me in a nutshell. If you're a perfumer, say hey. And I'm also one of very few Black perfumers. Most of us either follow each other on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, or we know of each other. And I'm a newbie, so my brand is definitely newer in the space. So I'm just excited about it all, and I'm just excited to finally walk in and do what I'm supposed to be doing in life. Because every time I go off the rails with that, or if I, because life's, and for me, life has really been lifing. But yeah, everybody veers off, but there's just something about doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I have a lot of peace in my spirit when I think about and plan for rebuilding Ministry New York and In Reverence of as a whole. So I really hope you all stay tuned. I know this was long, but thank you for watching. And please stay tuned. Comment below, send me a DM, let me know your thoughts. All types of support is appreciated. But this is going to be a journey, and I stand proud in it. So yeah, that's me. I love you all, sending love. And I hope everyone is doing okay. Times are really, it's a lot going on, physically, in the world, on the planet physically, but also spiritually for a lot of people. Life is lifing for a lot of people. So I'm really just praying your strength if that's where you are, because I'm in a place where it's a tough time, and I'm just gonna lean on God, and so He's gonna take care of it. So I love you all, and I hope you all stay tuned. Love you. Bye.